Okay, so we're talking about the 24 kinds of pidyonis, these metaphysical keys that open up, undo the heavenly knots called dinam. And there are 24 bate dinam, heavenly courts, and each one needs its own particular pidyon. And so that, therefore you can make, a tzaddik can make a pidyon and it won't help at all. Why? Because the particular thing he's trying to make a pidyon for is really, the mishpat on this is happening in a whole different court. So you can convince all the judge in a district court, but if the trial is taking place in the appellate court, that won't do you no good, right? Same thing is over here. So there is, however, one overall master key to all the 24 Batei, and that particular one, if you do that one, it dissolves the whole shebang. There's no, however, it's a very, very rare occasion. You have to have an esrotzim, a very auspicious time for this, to be able to do this kind of pidyon. It's called a pidyon akoilel, the all-inclusive pidyon. And there are a few problems. First of all, there's only one tzaddik in a generation that knows this pidyon. I wonder, I don't know, again, this is speculation on my part, but they say when it was Shabbos, when the Baal Shem Tov washed his hands for Shalashudas, that he groaned, and after he said Hamoitzi, he told the Talmidim that Rabbi Chaim Benata was Mustalek. That's so. He was in Ukraine and he was in Eretz Yisrael. The Or HaChaim, yeah. So the Or HaChaim HaKodesh that he was Mustalek. So he said, how did he know? It's Shabbos, was it? So he said that there is a secret that only one tzaddik in a generation knows about it. And the Or HaChaim knew it, He says, and now when he washed his hands for Shalashudas, they revealed him the secret, so he realized that Or HaChaim was Mustalik. I wonder whether this is the secret. I'm going to say this is, maybe there are more secrets, there's only one person in a generation, but so this is, first of all, there's only one tzaddik in a generation. Not only this, but that tzaddik has to be an esrotzim when he's doing this pidyon, a specific, very auspicious time when this pidyon can work. That's the reason why sometimes this pidyon will not work. Why? Because they need it in the Shemayim. The Ikar Tachlis is, to bring back the Shomas of Gerin. The Medrash says that the only reason why Am Yisrael went on exile is to be Megaya Gerin. In other words, to take out the Nitzatzot de Kedusha, the sparks of holiness that are dispersed throughout the Umot. So that's the Tachlit of everything. Now, there's a principle that כל זמן שעבודה זרה באילון, חרון אף באילון. If there is a reality that people worshiping idols, this causes judgments. This causes anger. Now, it works both ways. When there's anger, there's avodah zarah. What happens if you were to take away the anger? That would dislodge, that will diminish the avodah zarah in the world. What does it mean? It means it will cause gerim. So, b'derech klal, we know that when there's avodah zarah in the world, this causes anger. But here, Rabbeinu comes from the other side, from the other way, and he says, something? When you diminish the charona, if you diminish the anger, it causes a diminishing of avodah zarah. What does it mean? It means that gerim come back. So in this pidyon, what does pidyon do? This pidyon sweetens the divine anger. So, Mimele, Mishamayim, they use it for a far greater cause than what the tzaddik meant to, which causes that? To cause Gerim to come. Says that's the entire avodah of Moshe. Says that's the entire avodah of Moshe. That Moshe is forever. His avodah is to be Megaya Gerim. That's his. That's why even the name Moshe is between in Gematria between Shmad and Ratzon. Shmad is avodah zarah, and Ratzon means you're doing Ratzon Hashem Makom. That's. So he's the membrane, the semi-porous membrane in between. That he's bringing from here to here. That's his avodah. That's his inyan. And he says like this. It is known in the scriptures. Kisva Arizal. Shesod Rava the Rav, the secret, the mystery of the primordial will, the will of wills. Usod Komus V'Sosu V'Nelam Ve'inko. It's a totally concealed and hidden secret. Afilu Moshe Rabbeinu lo yisigoi ki im be'es yistalkusu HaKodesh shenistalek Sham B'Shabbat Mincha. Even Moshe Rabbeinu did not attain it, except when he passed away. To there, to Rabbi the Ram and Shabbos Mincha. It is said in the Zohar Kodesh to this Inin, Zakor Chulka de Moshe. How meritorious is the part of Moshe. That's the reason why it is said, nobody knew his place of burial. Ki sham, in the Rabba the Ravin, ubchinas tachlis eidia shalomena. The Rabba the Ravin is the epitome of that. The end of knowledge, the quest for knowledge is that you don't know. They said you're only starting to know when you know that you don't know. You go in Kita Aleph, first grade, right? The teacher will come, with a watch, and says, "Who can fix my watch?" Everybody raise their hands, right? Kita Aleph, everybody can fix the watch, You go to Kita Hey, only one or two will say it. When you go to 8th grade, nobody can do it anymore. In Kita Aleph, they don't have any das. And so the main thing they don't know is that they don't know. The progression of Tachlis Yadiyah, the goal of the Yadiyah, is to know that you don't know. Now, Rabbeinu said about this particular inyan of Tachlis Yadiyah Shalom Neido, he says that his Tachlis Yadiyah Shalom Neido that he doesn't know is very, very, very different than other people. He says for most people is that they achieve in a certain particular knowledge, a certain particular, they realize they reach the end of what they know. I mean, you as a Christian, me as a copywriter, you as an accountant, you go to, somebody can come to you with specific tax problems that you'll say, listen, it's not me, it's like, you got to go to one of those, Deloitte and Touche, one of those, really big boys, they know how to, fend for them. Then someone can come to you and say, whoa, that's for engineers, that's not for me, And the same thing for me. But this is just what?
It was a lawyer, there was a law firm. They're called Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe?
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
That's good. So this is a private Tachlis Adiyah Shalom, but there is an overall Tachlis Adiyah Shalom. And besides, there is a difference between saying it that generally this is true, and actually holding there. In other words, holding in Tachlis Adiyah. The ultimate Tachlis Adiyah Shalom is Rava de Rabin. The goal of knowledge is not knowing. That's why from there, from Rava de Rabin, the will of all wills, this is where the retrieval and the sweetening and the amelioration of the pidyon that sweetens all the judgments in all the 24 heavenly courts. Why? Because it is beyond all the wisdoms and all the reasonings and all the knowledge. Because when you come to court, and you argue a case, okay, so the defense offers, its reasonings, and the prosecution offers its reasonings. Now, if the defense can out-argue the prosecution, then win the case. And if the prosecution out-argues the defense, it will win the case. This is all in the level of Yediyah, knowledge. You come with it. Azar argument, when it has to do with that, then, there's somebody can out-argue you, what can you do? And it's like...
And the defense is always trying to argue the points that the prosecution is making, not just any old point. Right?
Not necessarily. The thing is that there are different kind of tactics on how they do these things. But that's neither here nor there. This is already in the world of Chochmah. This is on the level where reasons matter. They said that in lawyerizing, they said that if the law is against you, argue the facts. If the facts are against you, you argue the law. Because the legal system of this world is not a system of justice, it's a system of legality. So we made it over there, all these things work. But the Rava de Rabin is beyond all the words, beyond all the reasonings. The reasonings over there don't want. Yeah, I want. You want. Finished. Caesar wants it. Finished. What can I do? It's like that. Because it's beyond all the chachmas, all the ideas. Because every kind of sweetening, every kind of undoing of judgment, that you have to sweeten any kind of judgment, is through the wisdom and the understanding, which is the reason for that particular judgment. Because they all get, sorted out in the level of machshava. Pidivam Toko, but that particular sweetening and amelioration that comes from the essence of Rava de Rav, the will of always, it's way beyond all the intellects and all the wisdoms. And this is the supernal root of all the wisdoms, of all the intellects. It constitutes the very edge, the very beginning of knowledge, the very end of knowledge that we don't know. No one knew where Moshe was buried. And that's why, that's the reason why it sweetens everything. Until they use it above with this pidyon, they use this particular pidyon to elevate from a state of shmad, which is avodah zorah, to a state of ratzon, to a state of doing Ritzon Hashem. Levatel koach achron af, to cancel out the koach of the anger, shemisham koach avodah zorah, which is the source of the koach avodah zorah. Shuklal v'shorosh kol yitzron roin. This is the root of all the evil inclinations of humanity. Shemishachim midinam. They all come from dinah. They all come from judgments. It's the koach is the koach of this particular pidyon is levatlam v'leshavam is to break these dinim and to ameliorate this dinim and to cancel this dinim v'la'alois misham b'chinas lotzon, and to elevate him from there, from shmad, from avodah zorah, from anger, all the way to ratzon, all the way, to joy and pleasantness, as they said in this term. And it also says like this, Siman Beis, this is the waking up from sleep. The main waking up takes place in Chatzois. Is that particular nekuda of Chatzois, of midnight. It is very, very difficult to attain. The Moshe Rabbeinu did not know exactly when midnight is. We said, this on Shabbos we read Kechatzos Halayla at around midnight, just about midnight. I'm coming out of Mitzrayim. Dafka on that specific point of Chatzois was the Geula al-Dei Moshe, was the Geula's, the retrieval from Mitzrayim through Moshe. Because the Nekuda of Chatzois is not a specific time. The Nekuda of Chatzois it doesn't take any time at all. It's the end of the first night, the first half of the night, and the beginning of the second half of the night. There is no time where Chatzois is. It is such a fleeting moment, it doesn't even take time.
That's what you said about the present. There's no time.
Right.
The present is the meaning of the past and the future.
That's right. There's
like a gap there.
Chatzois is a point when it's no longer the first half and not yet the second half. It's such an elusive point, and that is the nekuda. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes out of, to save Am Yisrael from Mitzrayim. And this is Misham Sod Yisrael Chametz B'Pesach. This is the source of the mystery of the Chametz in Pesach. Shu talui rak b'mashu. Chametz is the only prohibition that doesn't have a specific quantity. Doesn't have a quantity. Doesn't have a measurement. It's b'mashu, a speck, boom.
Even $1 million, $1,000, doesn't matter.
You're done. You're toast. Stick the fork in it. He's done. Ki en ben chometz le'matzah le'mashu. Between chometz and matzah, there's only mashu. By the way, remember that every single thing in the world has different manifestations. If chometz and matzah with bread and with with matzah, you have the physical manifestation of chometz and matzah. But chometz and matzah is also the words, chometz and matzah. They are the formula. They are the name, right? B'shem is the kedusha, in Lashon Kodesh, is when you change the name, you change the substance. Like, if you lie, ultimately, you don't change the subject, but what you change the let's not go there. Sorry about that. Chometz and matzah, the only difference between them, when it's matzah, and then, boom, it becomes chometz. It's just a mashal. Same thing when you write chometz and matzah, the only difference is between the roof of the hay and the left leg of the hay, there's a little opening, which in the ches does not exist. Right? Hay is a ches with a little tunnel over there on top. It's a mashal. The halacha is how far should the left leg of the hay should be from the roof. It says mashal, just epis, something. There's no shear to that. This is different with chometz and matzah because the letters of chometz and matzah are the same, except that this one has a hay, this one has a ches. So the real difference between chometz and matzah is just a little air between the left leg and the roof. So, ein ben chometz v'matzah ela mashu, כמו שאמרו חז"ל. ואז הבחין בין טיפה של בכור לטיפה של אין של בכור. The B'chor Mitzrayim, that they said, that it says אין b'aisa she'en shames. How can you say אין b'aisa she'en shames? There were no houses that the firstborn was a girl. How can there be? There's no house in shames in Mitzrayim during Malchus B'chores. The strength of the firstborns. So this says because the Egyptian women were fooling around. So he says, Zeh b'chol ha'oviv, this one is a firstborn to his father, and this one a firstborn to his father, this one a firstborn to his father. Each
For
one.
sure, out of 5, 6, 8 kids, one of them was the firstborn.
At least one of them was somebody's firstborn. So this says the Kodesh Baruch Hu was telling, how Kodesh Baruch Hu was telling which one to kill. The Kodesh Baruch Hu was telling the difference between which drop, which seed is that of a Bechor, and which is not. Which person is the development from the original drop of a Bechor, and which not. So it says that Kodesh Baruch Hu was telling the difference differentiating between Tipa Shel Bechor, a drop of a Bechor, and a drop She'eino Shel Bechor, which is not a drop of a Bechor. V'yivchin ben Bechorei Mitzrayim and Bechorei Yisrael. It told the difference between the firstborn of Mitzrayim and the firstborn of Yisrael. Posach Achal Batei Bnei Yisrael. And Kodesh Baruch Hu, skipped over the house of the children of Israel. With Dilom in the Mitzrayim, and he differentiated them from the Egyptians. And this is the thing that precipitated the Geula. Precipitation is probably rain, right? It's not really anything that. Okay, so read my English. All right. This is the thing that brought about the Geula Shel Pesach. Use simple words, dummy. And this is all we have ordered. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, bring some tissues. Why don't you bring some tissues? I apologize to our worldwide audience. Throughout these videos, I'm scratching my nose all the time.
Yeah.
I have a cold, so I'm like constantly touching my nose, and the period of already cracking up. All the millions, the multitudes that are watching this.
There's a count on the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
You're on the moon.
1, 2, 3. Works.
This guy, wow. Look at him with his nose. There, right. This is the thing that brought about the Yule of Pesach. All this, we were ordered in a Pashas HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodashim. This month to you, as we read yesterday, this month for you is a Rosh Chodesh, Pashas Bo. He calls it Gam Ken Sod Kiddush HaChodesh, because all this, to be able to tell this kind of elusive point, is also the Sod of Kiddush HaChodesh. Moshe Niskash also Moshe had problems with that too. Right? It is very difficult to ascertain the mystery of that particular point. During the month, there's a time when the moon is not seen, right? And then there is one Nakuda when the moon is first seen. And it's such a between seen and not seen. That's the first Nakuda. This is the Nakuda where the Chodesh is miskadesh, is sanctified. It's very difficult. Shemiskadesh HaChodesh, Shalvana, Sod Knes Yisrael, with the moon, which is the secret of Knes Yisrael, of the congregation of Israel. It's as small as can be. So that's the time where you make Kiddush HaChodesh and you fill it up. You fill up from its defect and you sanctify it. And this constitutes Amtakas HaDinim. As we know that all the Dinim, the thing that they are caught on is a Gimel Desiro, the deficiency of the moon. And when the deficiency of the moon is being filled up by the usage of Kiddush HaChodesh, Dokim Kol Adinim, all the verdicts are being sweetened. That particular Nekuda of Kiddush HaChodesh was very, very difficult to ascertain, even for Moshe. Because the secret of all that is very, very, very hard to attain. That Hashem will continue tomorrow.